Hello, beautiful lady. Welcome to another episode at Truhealing. I'm Dr. Disha, your root cause doctor, here to help you balance your hormones naturally and create the babies and lives you love. As you know, it's my mission and passion to help women live better lives at any age, but especially over 35. So, welcome to Truhealing, an intimate place for intimate conversations. As you know, here we talk everything related to women's health, periods, hormones, from puberty to menopause. So, last time we studied about hormones, and as promised, today I'm going to talk about the hormones that affect our menstrual cycle, and actually what our reproductive hormones are doing on a monthly basis. But before that, let's go through some basic structure or anatomy of the female reproductive system, and then let's talk about the function or the physiology. So cervix is the lower portion of the uterus that produces a special fluid that actually makes pregnancy possible. Isn't it incredible? And cervix opens into vagina. The womb or the uterus sheds its lining during your periods, and last but not the least, the ovaries are almond-sized sacs that house eggs and also make very important sex hormones, which we are going to learn today. So today, what I want you to take away from today, that you're going to be able to name the female sex hormones and really understand their roles in the menstrual cycle. And you will also gain a basic understanding of why period problems happen in the first place, and you will have that knowledge that you can use in your own life to figure out whether you might be struggling from an issue that's being caused by an underlying hormone imbalance. And we are also going to lay the groundwork to help you spot a problem in your own menstrual cycle, which I think is very, very empowering knowledge. So, as we learned last time that what a hormone is, and hormones are derived from cholesterol, and they give some kind of instruction to the target gland. So that's what's happening at our pituitary gland, and in the first half of the cycle, the pituitary gland releases FSH. Now, FSH is a hormone that comes and tells the ovary to produce an egg for the month. By the way, do you know that we are born with a finite number of eggs in our ovary, and as we age, that reserve declines every month. So our ovarian reserve of eggs is kind of fixed, and we never create more follicles or eggs than what we were born with. And this is something which is important to understand. So I was telling you that FSH is produced from pituitary, is giving instruction to the ovary saying, hello ovary, it's time to produce some follicle. And when you are younger, in your 20s and early 30s, that's awesome because your ovary is very, very responsive, and the pituitary and FSH, they have to just say once, and she is very receptive. Ovary is very receptive and very responsive, and the follicle starts to develop. At this point in time, when you are younger, a little bit of FSH is enough. So this growing follicle produces estrogen, which causes the uterus lining to grow, and it is called proliferative phase because the uterus lining is growing up. So the growing follicle is releasing estrogen, and when this estrogen reaches a certain point, a critical threshold, then our pituitary says, okay, the egg is beautifully developed and the follicle is big enough, so LH, another pituitary hormone, will come into the picture and shout to the ovary saying it's time to release the egg from the follicle. Okay, so this is the point we get a little burst of testosterone when we are ovulating. So you've got LH coming into the picture here, and the egg is released. So what was previously a follicle releases the egg and now becomes corpus luteum. So this is the second phase of your cycle. Now you are entering into the second phase of your cycle, which is called luteal phase. So like follicular phase is estrogen dominant, the luteal phase is predominantly a progesterone phase, because now progesterone comes into the picture and it helps the already thickened endometrium to get organized. So progesterone makes this endometrium prepared by the estrogen a very nice and cozy place for this egg in case it is fertilized. Now if it is fertilized, implants on the uterus and creates a pregnancy. But if that doesn't happen, progesterone levels decline, estrogen levels also continue to decline, and we start back at cycle day 1 and we have our periods, also called as period flow or cycle. So that's kind of what's happening throughout our cycle. Now as we get a little bit older and our ovarian reserve comes down, ovaries become kind of resistant maybe now to FSH, and FSH has to literally shout at the ovary to produce a follicle, to produce egg, and we start getting increasing number of FSH and LH, and then we can have difficulty getting pregnant, and that leads to the next phase of life, which is perimenopause and menopause, which is the topic for some other day. So that's kind of a brief introduction of what's happening in our body on a cyclic level. And our natural cycle without birth control pills is typically anywhere between 22 to 42 days. It just depends on what's your natural rhythm, and that's all normal. So in the next video, I'll talk a little bit more about what's happening when it gets imbalanced. So we studied about estrogen and progesterone. The most important thing I want you to understand is that your body needs to maintain a delicate balance between estrogen and progesterone. And since these hormones actually counteract each other, too much or too little of one, or too much of both, or even too little of both, it can throw the endocrine system out of balance. And I also want you to understand that hormone problems equal period problems. So if this delicate balance that needs to be maintained between estrogen and progesterone is disturbed, if it doesn't happen, it's going to lead to period problems. Everything from painful periods to heavy flow to PCOS, endometriosis, fibroids, missing periods, also called amenorrhea, infertility, low libido, mood disorders, and many, many more things can happen. So beautiful lady, I want you to know that when you understand how your periods work, it becomes very easy to determine if hormone problems might be the root cause of any period problems you suffer from. And that's really the most important message. Talking about my personal experience with period problems, and I know that many of you have probably similar stories if you're watching this video, is that I experienced years, literally decades of severe period cramps, chronic constipation, PMS, out of control mood swings, which eventually turned into missing periods, premature menopause, and autoimmune thyroid disease. And all these things took a real toll on me. But understanding and learning about the menstrual cycle eventually helped me heal these years of completely vagged out hormones that were causing these problems. And it can do the same thing to you also, beautiful lady, because knowledge is power. Knowledge is super empowering. You deserve that power. You have that power already deep inside of you. Your body knows how to heal. You have to just provide it with the right kind of environment. So for now, just enjoy and share this message. Really try to understand what's happening in your body. Appreciate the beautiful hormones that we have, and share this video, and be sure to stay tuned for the next one, where I'll go a little bit deeper into our hormones as we age. See you soon. Bye.